Okay, so we're gonna play the Firewatch with the audio tour, namely because I missed one or two tapes on my previous playlist for the trophy. So we're gonna go do this and see if we can collect them all this time. Alright, let's go with you're pretty. You're pretty, she says coolly. You are not. You are a future hangover. What? You reply confused? Someone should buy you a cheeseburger, she says. Firewatch audio tour.
Hello there, welcome to the Firewatch audio tour. My name is Rich Summer. I voiced the character of Henry, the guy that you're currently controlling with those buttons there. And I'll be chatting with you in a little bit. Thanks for checking it out.
Alrighty, cool. So it's been a while since I played this, so I'm just re-exploring the environment because I don't know. I've got all the collectibles for the base game in that, so I don't think I'll trigger anything special. If I find them again, but yeah, it's okay. This is a nice, relaxing, chill game. You did it for over a year? She drives you absolutely nuts. That's great. You move in, you share an apartment near the school with a view of the mountains. You two drink beers out on the deck. You drink beers just about anywhere. Life is good. Julia wants to get a dog. There's a scruffy, undersized beagle. Julia is in love. She wants to bring it home. She wants to bring it with her to class. There's also an intimidating but gentle-eyed German Shepherd. Nothing bad could happen to Julia while walking this dog. It's badass. You know, I'd prefer to get the one that would protect Julia. Mayhem is an excellent dog. He loves wrestling with you in the park and goes with Julia on her runs. Even though he's too big to bring to school, Julia loves him all the same. Mayhem is a friend, child, and pet, all rolled into one. 1979. You talk out on the deck. It's summer. 9:30 p.m. and heat still radiates off the high desert. What do you think about kids? She asks. Kids? They're not very smart or good at much. I'm saying if you and I have a couple little idiots. Well, Julia, I think, why not? In that case, we should probably get married. Yeah, I'd like that, you say? These kids are going to be screwed up enough. It's probably for the best that their parents are hitched. You say she's absolutely right. Just double check here. Make sure there's nothing special to do. Alright. So this here is basically, this will go along with this, I believe.
Hi, I'm Sean Vanneman. I wrote the bulk of 100% of this game.
Hey, I'm Jake Rodkin. I did a lot of level design, UI design, and worked with everyone on the story for Firewatch.
The game has this weird structure that Chris and I talk about in another tape. This is the first thing I wrote, was this opening of the game that jumps between Henry's life and the trip out to the woods. And I used a little product called Twine to do that, which you can download and use. It's just a very simple choose your own adventure tool. The simplest way to program a video game that one can then share with friends and play.
I think we were worried that the team would sort of perceive Henry as a blank slate, as sort of a generic game player protagonist, and we wanted to make sure, or we wanted to get in everyone's mindset, you're playing as a specific guy with a specific life.
Yeah, there's a reason when you play video games that a lot of your protagonists have amnesia, because it's really difficult when you're driving a character around who knows things about their life, or his or her life, that you, who you ostensibly are that person, don't know. So yeah, we kept trying to write an opening of the game that happened sort of like weeks into Henry's experience, and then quickly realized that it was like, well, why would he not be able to say X? Well, because his relationship with his wife is Y. So, but the player doesn't know that. Yeah. And this was the quickest way to get everybody on board, was to just take the thing that I wrote that answered the question, I think, for Jane and you at the beginning, which was like, who is Henry? And I would write these character profiles that were really bad. And then I went, what if I just let you play a thing, and then you can figure out who he is? And we held on to that until we had the idea to put into the game.
It means that when you're playing Firewatch and Henry and Delilah start talking about Henry's wife, you don't have to learn it through his dialogue, because you made the choices that brought him where he is today.
Okay, that was numero uno, and I don't know, let me see here, does it tell me? No, okay. Let's see, you are where? Okay, no. Ah, that's the run button, okay. It's a Thursday night and Julie is 4 hours late. She doesn't call, you're worried and getting angrier by the minute. She walks in after you've gone to bed. She's not quite drunk, but she's clearly been having a fun time. You fight when she gets between the sheets. Better to get mad than ignore, I think. You call her an inconsiderate asshole. She tells you to fuck yourself and try not to be such a baby. You call her selfish. She knows you mean it and it hurts her feelings. Julia still likes to draw. She draws plants from her research. She draws all the places you go. She draws you. Come on. Iman. You look awesome. Alright, numero doso.
Hi, it's Jake again.
Hey, I'm Chris Remo.
Oh, hey, Chris.
Hi there. I was a game designer and the music composer on Firewatch.
Nice.
So you're hearing now the first piece of interactive music that went into Firewatch. The first piece of music that actually
Responds to what you're doing in the game?
Exactly, yeah. So this is a piece of music that's divided into technically 6 parts. And what's happening is, as you're playing through this introductory sequence, when you hit certain points in the narrative, it sends a signal to Wise, which is the name of the audio middleware we're using. And then when Wise gets that signal, it waits until the next sort of musically appropriate transition point. And then when it hits that, it smoothly transitions into the next section of music. And so it creates the effect that you're just listening to one big long piece of music that just happens to be timed very nicely to your playthrough.
It just happens to get sadder and sadder at the exact rate that your life gets sadder and sadder.
Yeah, exactly. This was a challenging process, both because I had no idea what the music should sound like, and also because it was the first interactive piece of music in the game. So the technical sort of just how does this work was also a part of it. But as it turned out, this music was changed. I mean, Jake, you may remember this. This music changed relatively little over the course of development in comparison to a lot of
it started off as maybe 3 pieces and it expanded out to 5 over development, but other than that, it's one of the first things dropped in, shipped. Get ready to hear about that a lot on this commentary.
And what I'm going to do real quick, I'm just going to double check here. Actually, I'm just let me pull up my trophies on this real quick, just so I can kind of validate what all I'm going for here. So let me see here. Because I know I said it's a tape I missed when I was doing this before. Let's see. Actually, it looks like there's a couple of trophies I missed. So base game I got 5 out of 5. The expansion. So one thing I gotta do is I gotta fill a camera with so the disposable camera I get, I gotta fill it with photos. Thought I got, okay, so I have to get attacked by the raccoon and listen to the tape of old Shoestone. So that's it. Alright, so that shouldn't be that hard. Well, I'll say that now. 2 forks. 8 more 8 more miles? Jesus. That's okay. Nice sunset or sunrise. 82. During the summers, you and Julia enjoy walking Mayhem at night. There's a festival in town that brings folks from faraway places. One of them tries to mug you with a knife. Mayhem runs away? What? Okay, so my fuck dog. She is flustered, has trouble speaking when she's stressed. Okay. You confront the attacker. Oh no, I'm gonna be a damn facing. Your arms get cut up, but you beat the guy to a pulp. You don't feel very tough. You cry your eyes out before the cops show up. Julia asks to take a different path from that day forward. You say okay, you don't want to go that way either. From then on, you walk by the river. Oh hell, if I would have known that, I would have got the damn beagle for her. Damn mayhem. Plans to have kids get waylaid by work. Julia gets offered a job at Yale. Yale's in Connecticut, 2,000 miles away. It's a great job, associate department chair. She wants to move. You absolutely do not. Convince her not to take the job, agree if she commutes back and forth. Well, I don't want her to go. You know, it might be a good job, but we can make do. You tell her that this means you two won't have a family. She says that's bullshit. She's totally right. I disagree. She asks if taking the job means you won't come with her. You say yes. Again, bullshit. But she doesn't take the job. Good. Julia is asked to leave Boulder on paid leave after having an episode. She lost it on a colleague for borrowing a book. For borrowing books that were important to her research. She didn't remember she had happily loaned them to him just 2 days prior. She was found crying in the stairwell. You say that maybe you guys should talk to someone about it. You make macaroni and drink wine and try to forget about it. No, talk about it. After seeing multiple doctors and having multiple tests, they're worried that Julia might be suffering from early onset dementia. She's 41. We'll keep it a secret for now. Let's see what's in the journal. Okay, there's my He-Man portrait. Okay, yeah. Mayhem is getting older. He's got silver hair down his back and slows down at night. You and Julia walk him to the bar to see your friends, and it feels like nothing has changed. She goes back to the university. Julia's affliction gets worse. She can't remember things in class, so her research is in shambles. She drives her car to the next town over for no particular reason and has to be brought home by the police. She's devastated. She's sent home on permanent medical leave. Some days you get the Julia who calls you a dope and your unborn children little idiots. Other days you get a stranger. She pulls you into bed to make love. After 5 minutes she goes into panic believing her dad is at the door. Yeah, that could be scary. You tell her family. They are crushed and begin to make trips to and from their home in Australia to visit her. For a while your friends come by with little things to brighten the day. She gets worse. You spend your days following Julia around the house. You count the seconds between the 2 weekly visits from Daniel the nurse. He suggests that Julia could live somewhere else, somewhere with 24-hour care, a home. Sits with you for a couple months. You decide to move her into a full-time care facility. No, we'll take care of her. Okay, we just backtrack here just to. Oh, huh. Taking all the 5 steps, it seems. If I remember correctly, I ran into a couple deer around here. Yep, there they are. Well, at least they're not going to attack me. It's impossibly hard. The worst is when you get mad at her, like when she tries to cook her own food. Can't do anything without her, and she can't do anything without you. When she goes to sleep, you stay up for a few hours drinking on the deck, watching baseball in the summer, college basketball in the winter, drinking then too. You start going out after you put her to bed. First time you do it, you worry about her getting up and walking around while you're gone. I would hate to put a chair in front of the door. But that just, yeah. You go to the same bar at the boring end of Pearl Street. It's nice there. Over time, you tell Sheila, the bartender, everything. It's a huge weight off. You're home and in bed by 1 a.m. a couple of nights a week. One night, you're stopped at a DUI checkpoint. You blow a .1 and are taken to jail for the night. You consider trying to hide it, but tell your sister-in-law, Susan. Julia's parents take the next plane from Australia. You can't believe the state your house is in. When they tell you Julia is coming to live with them, you don't argue, you say you'll visit soon. A few weeks go by, summer's coming and you see an ad in the paper for a job. This job. I take it. Loading. Hey. Sorry, I'm just going to do something real quick. Okay. That's... Okay, we're just looking at the so a trophy guide on it. Alright. Alright, good set. Number 4. So actually, I played one. Let me take a walk around the immediate area. Actually, let me see here. Let me see. Let me just do this. Alright, so let me see here. The map. I want to run around the edge because I thought there was one around the edge perimeter somewhere. I don't want to go into the tower just yet. Yeah, there's one. Okay, this is cassette number 15. Let's see, do I want to put these in order or... Okay, that's not a good, I'm trying to find something good that shows it. No, that's not good. How about this? No, not that one. Let me see. I thought, or maybe they don't. I thought there was a something that kept track of what you've collected. That's Zoom.
Hey, it's
play
Chris
that
again.
Oh, it's Jake.
So if you're listening to this right now, it's because you went off the beaten path really early in the game. Obviously, you probably did that because the commentary map told you to. But
you don't need a map to tell you to go here. You could just go here.
We had to. One of the biggest challenges in this game was throughout the entire narrative, keeping in mind that really players can pretty much go anywhere that they've unlocked on the map at any time. And sometimes that's actually really inconvenient for the narrative of the game. We had to come up with a lot of excuses for why you couldn't go to certain places at certain times,
appreciate
or
it.
if
Crazy.
we couldn't think of an excuse.
Some call it an excuse. Others call it a thrilling narrative event.
Right. So, for instance, where you are right now, if you keep walking in that direction, you will sort of cross the river, but then be unable to go any further. Because,
There's like a lot of dense underbrush.
and then about halfway through the game, when a big fire happens, that area is burned out, and you can walk past it into Cottonwood Creek and
Pork Pond, etc.
and all those areas. Yeah, it was really, really hard to think of justifications like that weren't completely implausible.
Yep.
And so we actually have relatively few cases of that in the game.
Yeah, if we couldn't come up with a good way to keep a player out of a space, we instead flipped the other direction and went, well, what can we do to support it and make it interesting? On this day, before the story started, not a whole lot, but we thought it was fun to point out that you can wander a lot more of the map than you might even think at the very, very, very start of the game.
Yep, and then especially once you get ropes, that increases a lot more. So just as you get these items that allow you to explore more of the world, we had to face these increasingly complicated and frustrating design challenges of how does the whole game not break all the time now. It was interesting and difficult, but also cool.
Yep. Bye.
Alright, so that's that tape. I don't remember how many tapes there are in the game. And compass. Yeah, I have a compass, but I don't have my map yet. I don't remember if the map has. Oh, there. Ah, look at that. It's my map. So how do I? What was that? Up arrow. Okay, up arrow is my map. Okay, so all the shields are what do you call them? Tape locations. Okay. So what they were referring to before is, actually, let's find out. So, oh, there we go. That's better. Now I can see. All right, so that's south, right? Where's my north indicator? Okay, yeah. So south of where I am. And south would be that way. Right, so let me run, because what they're talking about is you can go down to the river, but you basically hit a dead end at a point because it's unpassable. Just here, I don't know if I can. Okay. So there's this cache here. Can't open that up yet. So this here is where I believe they're referring to becomes unpassable. Let me check my map here. Let's see. So southeast. Southeast. So this here is pretty much all unpassable right now because the fire hasn't happened, so now I'm stuck. Firefly. And let me just double check, make sure there's nothing. I think the last tape I'm missing for the day, okay. The last tape I'm missing for the day is up in, what do you call it? The actual lookout tower. Let me double check this here just to make sure. Oops. Yeah, so there's one in the tower. There's one that you don't see on the map here. That's the one at the very, very start of the area. And actually two you don't see here. Hey, shut up, Prish. What's going on, man? Hey, Miss Fridgie. How's it going? Hey, congrats on getting your affiliate. Clab had mentioned that right before you did your raid earlier today. Alright, no problem, man. Go spend that quality time with little Charlotte there now. Yeah, right now I'm just doing a little casual playing of Firewatch, getting away from my Assassin's Creed bitterness right now, and trying to get the the trophy for collecting all the cassettes.
I'm Nels Anderson, and I was a designer and gameplay programmer on Firewatch.
I am Jane Ng, and I worked on the 3D environment art in Firewatch.
So you're likely standing at the base of your home away from home, your home in the wilderness. For all intents and purposes, more or less, this is basically just a real straight-up tower like they existed out in the woods, right?
Yeah, I think it is Portland. There's somebody in Portland who was very good about archiving a lot of blueprints about various type of fire lookouts of the state, and we got some, and that's how we started off building the Firewatch. The lookout tower, just by looking through how they were actually built.
It's slightly taller than a real one, right?
We had to make quite a bit of adjustments because, for example, the stairway you see here, normally fire lookout stairways are not on the outside, but for more interesting gameplay and views for the player, we opted to change that. But ultimately we still wanted the tower to feel like a real tower, so we had to figure stuff like, hey, how does the plumbing actually work? And how do they get water? Stuff like that. It actually is very important for a real tower.
And if you go look around the base of the tower,
sorry, I've never heard of that one, IQ.
Big old plastic cistern.
We are not a survival game of any sort, but it is important to make sure that all that stuff is actually thought out, so the space feels realistic.
Right. You don't want someone playing the game being like, wait a minute, there's no how does this guy drink? How is he not dead?
When I normally play video games, I'm always interested in stuff like, hey, where's the bathroom? Here we have the outhouse and you can go anywhere, but stuff like water is very important. So in a real fire lookout situation, what they do is they will use a cistern, and they will capture rainwater from the roof, and you will actually see that we actually have a little pipe down from the roof, and we even have what they call a first flush filter being there, which is actually what they use.
That's my favorite kind of filter, really.
I had to look at what do they do, because once you go, okay, you collect rainwater from the roof, it won't be all nasty, and then hey, somebody already figured that out on how to collect rainwater. What do you know?
We actually visited a number of different lookout towers as we were researching the game, and it was always very satisfying to see elements of things we saw in the real world and make their way back into the game, and vice versa.
So we also made sure to have a tab here, a little faucet, where you can actually get water from the cistern.
Yeah, if you click on it, it will play an animation of a hand gripping a knob and water comes out for 2 seconds. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
But it's there.
I think for a while we actually were thinking should we just let the player turn on the water? But then what happens if the water just runs out? And then James had a very good idea of just going just make one animation that you turn on the faucet and turn it off immediately, just so that hey, there's water in here and you won't die. That's Henry.
And you're shitter. Alright, so I think that is it for day one's tapes, right? Yep, okay, so now we can continue on with the actual game. What did that say? There's a lookout over there. There, that's what I saw. Thoroughfare lookout. And let's see. I think there was I don't know how many lookouts I could see from here. I think just that one. There's the top of the cistern that grabs all or the top of the rain collection that goes down to the cistern. The graphics are interesting, but kind of cool at the same time.
Forks Tower.
This is where we can have fun with what's her name.
Two Forks Tower, this is Thoroughfare Tower. Come in.
Oh, I hear you. I hear you, Delia.
I know you're there. Your lights are on.
Yeah, well, you know, the lights are on, but no one's home.
Hello, Two Forks, come back. Pick up your radio.
What fun is that? I don't want to pick up the radio just yet. Anything else to interact with here? Let's see. Something about these books also. Let's see, L1. Glory. Alright.
Hello? Whoever this is?
It's Henry, right?
Yeah.
I'm Delilah.
Yeah, that's what the guy said on the phone.
So, what's wrong with you?
Excuse me?
People take this job to get away from something. So, what's wrong?
What's wrong with you?
That's a great idea. Go ahead.
Look, I just hiked for 2 days, so I don't really follow whatever it is you're doing right now.
You take a stab at what's wrong with me.
Fine, then can I sleep forever?
Sure, buddy. Okay, now go ahead.
Yeah, I'll go with the 3 ex-husbands. Why not?
Okay, you've killed 3 husbands. You're a black widow and you're just out here until the heat dies down and then you'll kill again.
Ooh, very good. Bravo, Henry.
Okay, I sleep now?
Not quite. Now you.
Okay, good night, bye.
Let's see. I don't know anything about you, but 9 times out of 10, folks out here simply got dumped.
Huh, is that it?
Close?
Good night.
Good night. Welcome to the job. Henry. Well, I guess good afternoon. You probably slept like a rock. Anyway, there's still a few hours of daylight to get some work in. I can see you at your desk, so call me when you're ready.
Damn, what do you call it? Person that, stalks you. Damn stalker. Can I stand up from my desk? Well, I guess I have to, talk to her first, huh?
Hey, sorry, guess I slept in.
You got a relaxing, 14 hours of sleep? Whew.
Yeah, Jesus, I guess it's 6?
6:45.
Whoops.
Don't worry about it. That hike puts everyone out of commission for a day or two. But now that you're up, let me quickly get you acquainted with the job. There's a thing in the middle of your room with a round map on it. Do you see it?
Yeah, there's a big map table here.
Okay, yeah, I see it.
This is the Osborne Firefinder, invented in 1914 by W.B.
Osborne?
You use this to spot, you guessed it, What the fuck?
What is it?
Nothing. You use this to... Oh, fuck me!
Good God, language, lady.
Out out your west-facing window. Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
West facing window. Which way is west?
Are those fucking fireworks?
West. West? That'd be west, okay.
I need you to confirm.
Oh.
Do you see them?
Yeah, I suppose I see him. I would. Oh, I guess I have to lower my compass to talk. Oh, no, wait.
Seriously, are you seeing this?
I am! The fireworks, yes, fireworks.
Whoa, that's not legal, right?
No. You need to get down there right now and stop them. Fire danger is through the fucking roof.
Is that really my job?
Your job is whatever I say it is. Look, the closest ranger is like 2 days away. Go down there and set them straight.
Like, kick the shit out of them sort of straight?
No. Jesus, no.
What? I'm not a cop. It's not like I've got a rule book over here.
Just make sure they don't do it again. Take their shit.
All right, fine.
Don't feed anyone a knuckle sandwich. Get going. You'll probably need a rope to get down the shale between you and the lake, if I remember right. There should be one in the supply box on the way. The code is 1234. It's actually that for all of them.
Secure.
Shut up.
Let's see, bleach. Why do we need bleach for? Let's put bleach in the pan. Or put on the floor. Can we cook the bleach? Cookbook, guidebook, right, tape.
Nels, it feels like you on the team did the most sort of digging about what the real job is like, what is in the actual space, and then checked us against reality when we kind of went off the reservation.
I mean, in general, I really like doing research. That's sort of a thing I've enjoyed on all the projects I've worked on. So for this, a bunch of folks on the team read this great book called Fire Season by Philip Connors, which is kind of like a memoir-ish thing from this dude who still is an active fire lookout even today. But I also just I called up the Ministry of Forests and Natural Resources here in British Columbia and got redirected to like 3 increasingly small Ministry of Forest offices until someone just gave me literally the phone number of this cool old lady who had once been a fire lookout. So I just kind of chatted with her for like an hour and a half just about what doing the job was like. The reason why the game is not a simulation of being a fire lookout is because what everyone talks about is that the number one challenge with the job is that it is incredibly, impossibly boring.
Because you can't like read a book, you can't like be doing other things, right? Like
Not really.
Still on the desk.
At the end of day 3,
Wow.
Delilah mentions it's like, Kenny's like, well, what do I do for the rest of the summer? She's like, you sit in that chair and you look out the window. That is actually what fire lookouts really do. So all the folks I talked to said like figuring out ways to combat boredom
Come on, stand it up.
is the number one thing. The lady I talked to, she said she did a whole lot of needle point
here, let's
and
put you on
cross
this.
stitch because you can do that without looking at your hands very much. Obviously, like, lookouts are also responsible for doing, maintenance on their towers. But again, it's like not maintenance because some crazy Yahoo smashed up your tower. It's maintenance like, oh, the paint is kind of flaking off. Better paint it. Or these trees have grown too tall, I need to chop them down. Not I'm chopping down trees to form a weird log bridge.
The main
Technically,
takeaway
it's standing
from
up.
whenever we would talk to someone who had done this job is, why would you make a game about that? That is the most boring time of my entire life. So hopefully we showed them how.
It feels like people who do this job like fall into 2 camps, right? They're the people who think they can do it and can't hack it and bail after like a month or 2. People like Jack Kerouac, who tried to do this and wrote about it in Desolation Angels, and then he went crazy from a lack of cigarettes and then left. Or the people who kind of enjoy the solitude and then figure out ways to deal with it. But we do have like a lot of the window dressing for the stuff people use. Like other folks I talk to, it's like, what do you do? Well, we read a lot of books and we like trade the books between the different lookouts through rangers and stuff like that. So of course Firewatch has a crap ton of weird books in it. Stuff like that.
Alright, let's go get the next set of tapes. one's another one for today.
Hey, it's Jake again.
And it's Jane again.
All right, let's talk about Two Forks Lookout. I mean, we could just talk about lookout towers in general in
Yes.
video games. Well, you built it. You want to talk about it?
Yes. So lookout towers have standard sizes, actually. I think most of these were either 14 feet by 14 feet in the inside, or something like 7. Like there's actually
Like
a
tiny,
standard.
wow.
Yeah, the cabins have standard sizes, and the ones that you have a bed and stay in are the 14 feet ones. And we realized through a few experiments that if you make a space that's actually 14 feet in the game, it would be too tiny.
Yeah, I remember you found a lookout tower enthusiast website that had posted the actual blueprints that the state parks and forest service used. So we're like, we're doing this.
Yeah.
We're building it to scale.
Yes.
It's
And-
tiny. You can't move around.
It's tiny, and then basically the camera just has no room to maneuver at all.
Yeah, and you just feel like a fat guy, like you can't fit
Yeah.
between your desk
I'm
and the
not
front.
fat.
It
I'm big
feels
boned.
like you're just in a shoebox. So we did a few experiments. I was like, okay, how about it's twice as big? And when it's twice as big, and it's just like no.
palatial
Yeah, and it
fire
looks
lookout
wrong.
cribs.
And then like on the outside, the silhouette of the space also looks wrong. So we ended up with I think something like 1.5 size bigger than real life, and it feels like a real fire lookout.
Over the course of the game, as things change, there's a bunch of variants of the tower too, right? I mean, simple stuff like the broken window, but then also we
yes.
move furniture around. Henry gets moved in over the time.
Yeah,
over
there are different
time.
states of the interior, and we achieved that by actually swapping out the whole interior set. Like 7 or 8 times, I think.
A lot of times.
As the game moves on, then more and more of his stuff starts showing up, and then Henry is a slob, and so his like undies are everywhere and all
Window
that
gets
stuff.
broken, window gets fixed,
Exactly.
conspiracy board goes up. Yeah, and dirty socks get all over the place. Just tell the story of some slobby dude up here.
Exactly.
Chris again here.
Hey, and Jake, congratulations, player. You have completed the teen loop.
Oh man, that's true. This is the end of what was originally called teenloop.unity, a scene file in our game engine Unity, because we thought that was just going to be the file corresponding to the
To
first
this piece
sort
of game that you've just played.
Yeah, this first big objective.
But then we kept building, so all of Firewatch is in fact saved inside of a file called teenloop.unity. So
Yeah.
know that
Entire
for the
game.
rest of your play experience, you're inside of the teen loop.
Yeah. This part of the game, you probably are right now if you're listening to these commentary notes basically in sequence. The music
Which I'm
is
not.
either about to kick in or has just
Oops.
kicked in. It's dark. You're finding your tower's been broken into. This I really strongly remember feeling when this went into the
Maybe I
game
should've
and had the music,
played
which was
that
actually the
in
first
order.
music implemented in the entire game. All this stuff together
Yeah.
felt to me like the first real moment of assertive
Oh, well.
tension in the game.
Right,
and it
so
felt
we're going.
really crazy
Yeah, because we
to me.
had our environment system working for the first time, so
We'll
the
go
sky
east.
turned to nighttime,
Yep.
and our
Oh, wait,
world logic
that's
allowed
east.
the tower to switch into its broken into state just when you were off in the world for the first time. And then when that music finally came in, we're like, oh, wow, okay, this is a world that's alive and can be tense and cinematic.
Yep.
And all of it happened without us ever having to cut the camera. I remember we were all very proud and stoked of that.
For sure.
That was like right before we first demoed the game, I think, at the
Wait, I don't want to go
Expo.
east. I want to go
because
west.
the end of day one was the end of the first demo.
Yeah.
Right before this,
Yeah, that's where
there's
the fireworks
moment
were.
with the creepy guy in the woods, and that was sort of a moment of tension. But that's also arguably maybe not, because it's immediately deflated by Delilah.
Right, but this, you're like,
was like,
holy crap.
Okay, I remember feeling kind of nervous about it because it was like the game is declaring this is a tense moment, and if it falls flat, we have failed. We can't like make a joke to diffuse it. And I think it basically worked, and it was a real relief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ba, 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 ba.
I think I can get to this one. Oh, this is where I need the rope, don't I? Yeah. Actually, or is it up here? I don't remember. No. Okay. Oh, because that's over there somewhere is where we're going. Alright, so let's backtrack a little bit.
Hi there, it's Jake.
And Chris again.
Hey, so here we are in the cache box clearing, or at least I guess that's what we call it. There's a lot of cache boxes in Firewatch, but this was the first one that we placed into the game.
For a long time, this was the cache box.
It was the cache box, even though we knew we wanted to have more. This area was actually one of the first areas that we built out to any degree that looks like a piece of the world. It was a really good proving ground for us. Like when me and Nels Anderson were grayboxing the world at the very beginning, we tried a million different things. Like maybe this was on the edge of a cliff, or maybe it was a secret that you had to find. And I think it was Sean who suggested that he really wanted it to feel like a warm, sort of enclosed space, like you've stumbled onto a little glen and you want to stay there for a while, which I think makes sense because we wanted people to actually stop and poke around and have it not feel like the woods.
This was an area with a lot of firsts. I remember this really ended up looking a lot like Ollie's concept art in a way I think that felt like an accomplishment when it all got built out. It was also the first audio I implemented in the entire game, I believe.
The Foley on the locks and the lid?
Right, exactly.
Oh, this was, man, this was also, the cache box was also our proving ground for detailed object interaction with Henry animating the lock. And also, there's an exit out if you back up and turn left. That was the first time I prototyped one-way drops and also any like sort of secret paths, because the way that you cross the canyon also showed up here, and I didn't tell anyone on the team about it for like months, and people only noticed it once they started playing the back half of the game, and it was very fulfilling for me.
Nice.
Cache box.
Cache box, land of firsts and secrets.
That's the state flag of cache boxes.
I found the supply box.
Great.
Grab the map. And
Hey, I found a note to a guy named Ron from some guy Dave.
That's probably Dave Gaskell. He's completely nuts.
Ron, hey man, guy couldn't take it, so I locked up his lookout, put some stuff in the box, found one of those bars you liked, lying in the park. Let's get fucked. I'm back, okay?
Is that right?
Harmless, but yeah, one of those, fall off the grid and eat ants for a week type. Totally fucking cuckoo. Which is kind of what the job attracts.
Let's see.
Hey, there's a snack in here. I'm probably gonna eat it.
You definitely do not want to do that. Whatever's in there has been in there for years. That's how you get food poisoning.
That's what I do. I eat it.
I tracked down that rope. It was right where you said.
Great. So you should be set to get down to the lake.
Anything else in here? Nope. Okay. I think I mentioned something about off to the left. So let's go off to the left. Just because that's what he said. See? What's it? Ruby River. So this is probably...
Wow, there's an old, I think it's called a medicine wheel out here.
Yeah, it was made by Crow American Indians hundreds of years ago. There are lots of small ones. Have you ever been to Medicine Wheel Monument over in the Bighorns?
I sure haven't.
Well, it's worth a 3-hour detour on the way home in August.
Neat. I'll keep it in mind.
The radio went on a real evolutionary journey. I don't know if you remember back at the very beginning when we all got together to make the game. We got together in December, like the first week of December, and we said, well, we're definitely going to take Christmas break, but what can we make in 2 weeks with this crew in Unity, an engine we've never used before? And we started starting with the radio mechanic, and I quickly wrote like a mystery about an FBI agent looking for a kidnapper in the woods, and then you had like a dispatcher who was like, go to this place and look for this. Oh, I think he left. And I think that's when we sort of proved out that looking at things and pointing at them the way you would like in a shooter, but then getting options to talk about them was the thing we were going to do.
That's kind of where the radio mechanic is so different from most conversation systems in games, right? Because most game conversation systems like, oh, you're standing next to this guy, so you can talk to him now, and you will be able to talk about things that have recently happened to you. But since it's a radio, it's like you could be anywhere, anytime, talking about whatever you're looking at. So even as we started to like do that initial prototyping, we sort of realized like, oh, that's very interesting. Also, this is really complicated and very different from how most games do dialogue.
Yeah, when you're standing in front of a character, you just sort of have the like very like binary rule of I am standing in front of a character in an adventure game, I can talk. I walk away, I can't. When you change that up and you can talk about things wherever because the proximity to that character is no longer relevant, you start to find really weird cases. Like, what do you do when you want to talk about an idea or a sound you just heard, a smell? So then we had to sort of like breaking the radio mechanic into the realm of like the intangible. And I don't think that really came on until much later.
Yeah, we got like, I think during that prototype we got the very initial vestiges of it, but in that initial prototype it was so simple where it's like, oh, if you're looking at this weird stone head, you can like push the one button to play this crappy audio top of "Oh hi Mark" from Tommy Wiseau's The Room, or you can push 2 to say "Oh hi Denny" instead.
That was the darkest time of development for me.
It was the most wonderful time
because that movie gives me real physical illness. When we had mapped the radio mechanic to 2 lines from The Room, I was in a bad way about that.
I enjoyed it greatly.
I know you did. I know you did.
Yes.
100,000 acres were gone. It's Yellowstone, you know? People don't want to touch it, but we touch it every single day. But hey, I got a 30 cents an hour raise because we can't have another fiasco. Like the goddamn park can burn down again.
Alright, let's see where's the next one at. Number 6. This way.
Hey, there's a tree out here that's been ripped to hell.
And?
Don't you think that's, like, disconcerting?
Henry, there are 500-pound grizzly bears out here. They sharpen their claws on trees.
We don't have grizzlies in Colorado. People killed them a long time ago.
Well, in the thoroughfare, they hunt people, they kill people, they bury their bodies, and then come back weeks later to eat them because they prefer rotten meat. People just disappear.
Don't you think that's disconcerting?
No, Henry, that's life.
Oh, that's life.
Lady.
Jake.
Oh, hey, Sean.
You did a neat thing here in the game that I like a lot, which is when you make a dialogue choice with Delilah about what this dangerous hill should be called. It shows up on your map, and I like that a lot.
Yeah, when we were putting the map system together, well, actually, the map weirdly was one of the final things to come into the game as a fully fleshed out piece. But an upside of that is we built the map using a lot of tools we already had. For instance, the system that checks which things you haven't talked about, which things you haven't found in the game, use the same variable list as our speech system. So when I was putting this together, I realized, oh, not only can I put a mark down on the map when Henry finds it or talks about it, but I can totally look at the same tools we use for dialogue and figure out what the player said and put it on the map. And the end result felt really natural. I actually wish we'd gone a little deeper on it in the game, but I'm really happy with what's in there right now. Also, please name this Shitty Boss Is Gonna Get Me Killed, because that's objectively the best name for the hill.
Is that your handwriting?
Yeah, you gotta cram that in there, but it's still readable.
This shale slide is steep. How do you expect me to get down this?
I don't remember it being that bad. It's not even named on our topos.
What about Shitty Boss Is Gonna Get Me Killed Hill?
Oh, is that Absorka Indian? Maybe Creek?
That's actually English for not in my job description.
Let's see here. Shitty boss is gonna get. Yeah, that's funny.
No! Oh.
I hope you're happy.
Hey,
What the hell's wrong with you?
my shitty boss almost got me killed.
First, your boss is a delight. Secondly, Jesus. What exactly happened?
My rope snapped coming down the shale slide.
You didn't break anything, did you?
No, I think I'll make it.
Well, be careful for Christ's sake.
You're the one that sent me down here in the first place, lady. Nope, that's another day. Alright, so where's my next tape at? Number 43. Okay. That's some place we'll do later. Actually, do I report this? Yeah, that's...
Hey, there's a tie-off point off here just a little away from the shale slide.
Oh, you ready to get back on that horse, huh?
Well, I can't go any further is what I'm saying.
That heads south down to the creek, but you should be able to get to the lake just by continuing west. Without any, mountaineering.
All right.
It's a long summer. You can explore later.
Oh no, I'm planning on exploring now, when I can. Well, to a certain extent. So there's like a couple different things here.
It is a hell of a nice camping spot down here by the lake.
I haven't been down there in years, but yeah, Jonesy Lake area is perfect.
Hi, this is Ollie Moss, and I was the art director on Firewatch.
I'm Jane.
Hi, Jane.
Let's talk about this teen
Let's
party
talk about
zone.
Let's talk about the Teen Zone. So the Teen Zone is one of the first areas that we used as a sort of art test to see how we would go about building the rest of the game.
We knew from the pretty early on that, on day one, you will start from the tower and you will have to head down to the lake. And somewhere in between, you will see some teens and they're partying. And so we called this the teen zone because this is where all the teen stuff is.
Yeah, and it was important to us that the reveal that it was a group of teens was communicated through the level design. So the idea was that you just kind of walk through some trees and burst out into this scene where a campfire was still burning.
And you had a pretty strong idea of what you wanted to look like.
Yeah, I just wanted to put some big angular rocks in there, which is basically the my modus operandi for the entire game. But we wanted to have a big angular sort of rock, which became known as Pride Rock because it looked so much like the rock from The Lion King.
We did name that Pride Rock, didn't we? That rock does serve as a very strong landmark pretty early in the game, and it kind of does point the player in the right direction.
Exactly. Should we talk a little bit about our process for designing these areas?
Yeah, me and social media, we just don't get along.
like no concept art. We will just mock it out with just gray, literally just gray boxes and a gray terrain, and then we will take screenshots and give it to Ollie to be like, please pretty this up, Ollie.
Oh, well, first of all, I'll do a terrible garbage sketch and pitch it to the team, and if people like the gist of it, then we'll go away and do a bit more of a detailed drawing, and then you would go.
Yeah, we'll add in some more shapes, and then we just keep going back and forth with paint overs from Ollie.
And then it's just a sort of tennis, really, just back and forth between the two of us until everyone's happy with what we have.
Yeah.
Pears, pears, pears! Yes!
What the hell?
I'm doing a crossword and I figured out the theme. It's homonyms. Pears, pears, pears. The clue was couples peeling fruit. Anyway, hope you're having a good afternoon.
Thanks. Finding a bunch of empty beer cans. They threw them all over hell.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, sure am.
I would like to retract my statement about knuckle sandwiches. Feet away.
What do you know? People with shitty manners drink shitty beer.
What, you don't like a cold Musqua Light on a hot day?
No, I do. But then again, I didn't say my manners were any good. Better than these fucking litter bugs, though, that's for sure.
Right. My boss gave me permission to beat the shit out of him. Red Eagle.
They left half a bottle of whiskey. Decent stuff.
Drunk pyromaniacs. Fucking great.
Oh shit, Ferret are Irish.
Okay, I'm gonna presume that's a good brand. I don't know.
Oh look, they decided to have a campfire too.
You know, they color-coded the fire danger signs in case people were illiterate. But I guess that doesn't take into account just plain stupid, does it?
They left their packs tied up here.
Don't fuck with them. The last thing we need is some hikers filing a report about harassment.
Well, I put out their fire.
Man, I would have named that forest fire something good, too.
Hey, I can always restart it.
No. I think your first instinct was the right one.
Found the fireworks. They didn't even try to hide them.
Well, confiscate them.
Well, they left their clothes out to dry. It looks like two people. What if they're naked?
Won't that be exciting? Look, they're obviously still there, so tell them off and then head back.
Let's see, where's the next thing is at the shore. Right? Yeah. Number 9.
I found a bra.
A nudie pyromaniac. Remain professional.
That's funny. And
there are panties.
There are what?
I don't want to say that word again.
Why, because you're 12?
What's he do? He picks them up.
There's a. Ooh.
Yes?
There are 2 naked ladies out here.
Can you handle that?
Come on, I like naked ladies, same as anyone, but there's, you know.
2?
Yeah.
I know this will be tough for you, but try to pick your tongue up off the ground and do your job.
Okay.
Classic 80s music right here.
I found them in the lake.
Skinny dipping.
Yeah.
Is that a guy over there?
Oh boy. Enjoy dealing with that.
My name is Patrick Ewing. I worked on tools and gameplay programming.
The teens, Patrick.
Let's open some old wounds here.
This is like going back to like an old battleground and being like on these hollowed grounds.
Yeah, I
bad
died on
things
this hill.
happened. I died on this hill.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the most complex
So,
interactions in the game.
they swam
if
out
not
to the middle of the
most,
lake.
right? And it
With
was
sparklers.
in the game from the very first vertical
Where did they
slice
hide
we
the
did.
sparklers?
And then
And where did
I
they
think we
hide the
kinda
lighter
added
to light the
it as we
sparklers?
played through it and
That kept
saw
them
like,
dry.
oh, we should be able to throw the boombox in the lake. Obviously, right? Okay, the teens need to react to the boombox being in the lake. Oh, but then they should also react to you putting it down.
What you should do if you're making a video game is build relatively ironclad, predictable AI and systems that react to inputs. But instead, we built a series of relatively flimsy state machines that were like, if this, but not when, and also if.
Right.
And we're able to create this scene as designed. And Patrick was sort of the shepherd of this scene. So whenever anything would break, if you were to throw the boombox and the teens were not to respond, or you leave with the boombox and they would talk about something else, it was Patrick's job to ferret into the state machine and figure out what was going on.
Yeah, and I'm happy with how it turned out. There are so many different ways that this scene can play out now, depending on what you choose to do. Do you throw the fireworks at them? Do you talk to them and then start messing up their stuff and throwing it in? And it ends up being pretty like believable. They feel like real characters. It's just such a crazy spaghetti code in the back end that I'm always terrified when I see someone play through it. That there's some interaction that we didn't think about.
Right now, the player is interacting with the teens in a way that is completely not by the book. And
I mean, luckily we
beads of
haven't.
sweat or building on your brow.
Yeah, I think it's just a PTSD response at this point. We would see the bug reports if this was actually still breakable.
Yeah.
You gotta take it easy with the fireworks, all right?
You ought to take it easy at the Sizzler buffet. Chelsea! What? He's just some loser out in the woods. I mean, he's grody.
Look, I'm sorry for bothering you. Can you just knock it off, please?
Yeah, you should be. This is a free country, and we should be free to do whatever we want. And free from any peeping Toms.
I said sorry.
Oh my God, is that what you are? Barf me out. Ew. Can we just... Whoa, hey, put that down.
Well, you-
Seriously, it was expensive.
Fucking cool it with the fireworks.
Please just put it down. We won't light anymore. You probably have a tiny dick. Chelsea? It's my boombox. Can we go? Look, let's just swim to the other side of the lake or something. Totally. You're gross. You're just some sad man out in the woods.
Yeah, but I got a boombox to listen to.
Hey, that go okay?
I hope they drown.
Oh, wow. The music's a little loud.
Oh, sorry. I took their stereo.
Okay, well, I guess we're all even then?
Yeah, I think so.
But seriously, though, thanks for dealing with it.
I remember having one of these things. Let's see, let's see. Okay, let's drop this right here. Don't break it. Don't break it. Yeah.
So there's no noise ordinances or rules out here?
No. But
I
that music right here
love
makes a good case for them.
Yeah, no kidding.
SK out of Sky? Okay, so where's the next one at? Oh, damn it. Up. Okay, so up and to the left. Right. Grab the boom box. Gotta take it with us. Because every game needs theme music, right? Plus, you gotta give YouTube and Twitch something to trigger music being muted, right? See, I think it was this way. I have to hop over this. Yep. Good. Oh, okay. Still got it. Okay. I thought I dropped it. Oh, I can run with a boombox. Cool. Oh, supply cache. 05. Come on. Old sweater?
I found a sweatshirt from the University of Eastern Colorado.
You did?
There's a University of Eastern Colorado?
I really don't think there is.
Why would somebody make that up?
Right, and then put it on a sweatshirt.
The world's a weird place.
What's funny is, he saw the sweater inside the box before he opened it. Oh, you can't keep it? Anything else in there? There's a note. Okay, the next one is over here. Yeah, there it is.
Well, this lake does seem like a good spot to swim, even if the last people to do so were assholes.
Yeah, right now though, it's all snowmelt, so you'll freeze your balls off. But as hot as it's been, maybe that's a fair trade.
Starting to feel like it.
Alright, well, as much as I want to have this song stuck in my head for the next 2 hours.
Any chance of those kids getting a disease in this lake, like diphtheria or consumption or...
Consumption? Not if they're not 19th century chimney sweeps.
Wow.
No.
You know, whatever.
I mean, if they drank a bunch, Giardia maybe, but probably not this time of year.
Well, that's too bad.
That's a good radio. I mean, its sound is penetrating the water. Right.
Hello, my name is Erin Yvette, and I'm the voice of Chelsea.
Hi, my name is Nikki Rapp, and I'm the voice of Lily.
And we're the drunk teens in the lake.
The obnoxious, skinny dipping, drunk, firework blasting teens.
This isn't the first time that you've played a Lily, though.
It is not. It's actually the third time I've played a Lily. My first Lily was Lily Zanotto in Psychonauts, and then I played the lovable Lily in The Walking Dead from Telltale. And now I'm Lily in Campos Santo's amazing game Firewatch.
I'm pretty sure the backstory behind my character's name is that it's Sean Vanneman's girlfriend's name. Slightly less backstory for me
rad,
personally,
though.
but she's a cool person in real life, so I It's fine. Although I wouldn't say that this character is based off of her, because this character is. I guess I always pictured her being changing majors constantly in college because she like can't decide what she wants to do. Like she's gone through like psychology and sociology and like and just constantly flunking out of everything.
Yeah,
so she's
I
just
think
switching until something sticks.
That's good you had ambition. I don't think my character really. I think she just was kind of drunk, cutting class.
This isn't the first time that they've done something like this.
Not at all. I think they were professionals at it. They were good. They were good at getting people to buy them booze, you know.
Totally.
That kind of a thing. That's good. Stand outside of 7-Eleven.
Whenever people ask me, like, oh, who did you play in Firewatch? It's like, oh, remember that time on day one where, like, you saw these silhouettes of, like, gyrating women? I was one of those. I probably
like,
called you a fucking asshole. That was me.
That's a dubious honor, but it's still an honor.
Totally, yeah. A little tiny bit of a really cool game.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
It's fine.
I'll keep that sort of a thing to a minimum. Anyway, let me know when you get back to your lookout.
Yeah, why am I zooming? Oh, hey, look, there's my lookout.
Oh, I can see my tower from far away.
Yeah, we experimented with hidden underground towers for a while, but we weren't really happy with the results.
So I'm with you all summer, huh? With whatever this sense of humor is.
Can you even believe? You're gonna love it.
Hi everyone, this is Ben Burbank. I'm a programmer at Campo Santo, predominantly doing graphics work and performance stuff, and I'm here with Jane.
Hi, I'm back.
And we're going to talk a little bit about, in general, how the world sort of streams in.
Mm-hmm.
This is a big open world game. There are, like, what, tens of thousands of trees somewhere in there?
Yeah, and we have how many chunks of the world that we stream in and out?
There are 100 plus.
Yeah, I think over 120.
One of the big challenges with that was we have to remove parts of it when you're not looking at it, because video game consoles and computers don't like to draw things that aren't seen.
Especially not a lot of trees.
Yeah, it's a lot of work for that little graphics card to do to try and draw all those that big forest. So the canyon's one of the spots where we have like obvious occlusion where you can't see most of the world. So we unload like the tower hub. The tower that you see in the canyon is fake. It's a small fake version.
Yeah.
Which is a common trick.
Yeah, so it's like a very low cost version of what it would actually be there.
One of the biggest challenges for Jane and people building the levels was figuring out line of sight. So how far can you see? Like if you have a point where you can see entirely across the map, we had to be very careful about what is actually loaded and what's actually drawing.
Yeah, so even though the canyon is pretty much a straight corridor, we had to put in some kinks in there. So, you know, like right sort of in the middle, there's a little area where you have to go around a rock. This is so that we could make sure you won't be looking at the lake when we basically delete it out of the world.
Yeah. The game also, you know, it's sort of non-linear. Like there's a linear story going on, but there's the ability for the player to just go backwards. So we also had to keep in mind like reverse line of sight and things like that, which is a little different than a traditional action game or something.
Yeah, it's kind of like a little puzzle game almost to figure out when we stream in and out things. So hopefully you don't notice any of it, because if you do, that's actually us not doing a great job.
You probably will notice it though sometimes. I'm sorry about that.
There's a horn or an antler or whatever.
Well, antlers are made of bone, and horns are made of the same stuff as your fingernails.
I guess this is a bone.
Antler. A ranger must have found it this spring.
be, I think, one more. I can use a flashlight now. Sweet. No, two more. So, in the cave, which is right there.
What's in this cave down here?
In Thunder Canyon?
Thunder Canyon?
Hey, I didn't name it. But in the cave, I don't know, rocks. NFS tells people not to go too far in there. It's pretty dangerous.
So
I say, fuck it. You're a grown man, you can go where you want.
great. Used to go caving with someone back in Colorado. She loved it. Might be great to explore it sometime this summer.
Well, that could be fun. Obviously, be very careful.
It doesn't seem that dangerous. Whoa, whoa! Oh, no!
Henry!
Seriously, it's completely fine in here.
God damn it.
Hello?
So it should be, there it is.
This cave is gated off.
It's to stop spelunkers from dying without getting the keys from the Forest Service office first.
Makes sense.
Although Debbie says she lost them like 3 years ago, so maybe its mysteries are locked away for good.
Ah, damn.
Yeah, but maybe you can find another one to get your caving kicks in.
Oh, this one's so close to home and convenient, though.
Aw, sorry, Hank.
Hi, I'm Jane. We're back.
And I'm Ollie.
Let's talk about this cave, Ollie.
Oh, let's not.
This cave really gave us all quite a bit of headache, actually. I was actually kind of having a mini panic attack because one of the hardest things to light in games actually is any area that's sort of half indoor and half outdoor, and this cave is a pain in the butt to light.
It is. Well, having we thought you'd be an old pro at this, having worked on a game called The Cave. But yeah, it caused a lot of problems in terms of the logic gating of the environment switches, because every time the time of day changes in the game, it then like sets that time of day.
Because there's no doorway really.
So the way the cave is lit, it actually just changes the time of day in the whole game. So like when you hit the trigger, if you could somehow magically transport yourself back outside the cave, you'd see like the sun spinning through the sky, the sky changing, and it was really hard to make that process invisible to the player and make it feel natural.
Not to mention that when you're inside the cave, everything also has to look really dark. And we use a method called image-based lighting throughout the game. And that basically means that all the objects, like all the trees and rocks, just look out to the sky to see what their lighting should be. And so in the cave, we actually had to do sort of like a fake sky for anything inside that is just pure black, so the lighting inside would be appropriately dark,
but still navigatable to a player without the flashlight.
Exactly, and also to be able to have a smooth transition when you're going from the brightly lit outside to the really dark inside and coming back out again, and having all the appropriate logic for the time of day, like Ollie said. It was just a real pain in the butt.
So now somebody's gonna pop up with a flashlight. Coming up here.
There's some guy out here giving me the creeps.
The creeps? Wait, he's looking at you? Is he doing anything else?
I don't think so.
Henry, there's something someone should have told you about this area.
What is it?
It's outside.
Come on.
The whole thing. And people come and go as they please. It's madness.
Yeah, okay. I get it.
Look, bumping into someone in the middle of nowhere is part of the fun.
I love the little details in Firewatch's branching dialogue. There are a lot of very subtle, hard to notice things that Sean put in while writing it that you really
couldn't notice without multiple playthroughs, but they add up to this feeling that you're talking to real people who, just like real people, kind of echo back things you said earlier, who, continue in jokes that have been established, et cetera, et cetera. And one of the subtlest that I don't think I even noticed till I was rewiring the game midway through is the spooky figure who you meet towards the end of day one.
Spooky figure. If the teens call you a creep, Henry calls the guy who's putting a flashlight in his face a creep.
Right.
He goes, there's some guy out here creeping, or he says something like, he's a creep out here. She's like, a creep, Henry? He's like, yeah, there's a guy who's spooking me out here. I don't like it. And I mean, I like doing stuff like that. I pay a lot of attention to the sort of infectiousness of language.
Yeah.
Especially in this office, someone will start using a turn of phrase that then I'll be at lunch with someone later, I'll be out with Jake or whatever, and then I'll hear the phrase
theory crafting
through them.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like, like if somebody was saying, oh, there was a total creep outside at the bus stop, then it wouldn't be long, like 18 hours later, it would be totally conceivable to hear Jake be like, oh yeah, that guy's kind of a creep. I don't know if we should have him by or whatever.
Yep.
And I'd be like, man, okay, like that word is now like bubbling along the surface of our social network here. Mm-hmm. And people are like that. People are weird, sort of like passive, like non-participatory sponges sometimes.
Yeah.
And I just like putting that stuff in the writing. And you can do that in games in a way that you can't do that in other media. If you do that in like a book or something, it's so double underlined that it feels like you're making a big point as an author. But in a game, because it's player driven and it's passive, it just feels causal and the way of the world.
Alright, so that should be all the tapes for today. Right? Yeah, that's all the tapes for today. Cool.
Damn it. Well, that trail isn't closed anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I took care of the blocked path. It was backbreaking, but, anything for the service.
Well, thank you.
Anytime. I don't think there's any fictional character I hate more than Forrest Burns.
Henry, as an employee of the Forest Service, that is treason.
Yeah, well, he really freaked me out as a kid.
He inspired me to spend the bulk of my 30s keeping the wilderness safe.
A shrink would have a field day with you.
Thanks, Mom.
What kind of name is Forrest Burns anyway?
Well, that would be a pun, Hank. A glorious pun.
I went to junior high with a guy named Royal Butts.
Royal?
Butts.
I didn't think anyone had been named Royal since the 1850s.
Well, Royal's mom, Flo, was a bit of a trendsetter.
Flo Butts? Oh, man, that's even worse.
Yeah, well, it's still better than Forrest Burns. So this generator is all the power I've got out here.
Yep, it doesn't go through much gas, and, well, you don't have much in the way of electronics, so...
What about my hairdryer?
Oh, I'm sorry. You might just have to make peace with frizzy locks.
I could never. So it's just the outhouse then, in terms of going to the bathroom?
You're a man, Henry. You can go wherever you want. Well, number one at least. And, full disclosure, I pee wherever I want as well.
Well, at least it's clean. I have baseball down here. No, come on. This is like the carnival game. Can you get in? Can you get in the out? Get in there. Hey!
I feel like I'm going to be murdered when I'm in the outhouse.
Feeling a little exposed, are we?
Hey, no man in the history of the world has felt tough with his pants around his ankles.
Well, be strong. You can always call if you're having trouble.
Sure, I'll do that.
What can I do for you?
Well, my typewriter is on the ground outside of my tower.
You right?
Yeah, look, the wind? No. How the hell
You should get inside.
Fuck me.
Don't go to her baseball. No, at least all the keys are still there. They trashed my place.
Someone broke in.
Hey, what?
They wrecked the place. Threw my typewriter out the window. Motherfucker.
Holy shit. I'll let the Forest Service know what happened.
I need to get my baseball. Cause I can't carry a baseball and a typewriter at the same time.
Okay, I put in a call.
What can they do about it? Will they catch whoever did it?
This is the Forest Service, Henry. They're not exactly Hawaii Five-0. Do you have any idea who would have done this?
Maybe that guy I saw in the canyon, but I don't know why the fuck he'd want to mess with my stuff.
Well, I'll have the Rangers keep an eye out for a man hiking on his own and question him if they find him. I can't believe someone would do this. I worry about bears and fires, and that's about it. And now I've got to worry about some deranged hiker going after lookouts? Great. Okay, in the morning I'm going to call my friend Patty, who works the desk down in Cody. They keep a list of everyone who's officially been in and out of the trailhead since, I don't know, forever, and see if we can get a list of names. We won't get much, but at least if anything else happens, we can refer to it and see if anything comes up.
Thanks.
I need you to feel safe out here.
Duh.
Just point me to the Forest Service weapons cache and I'll feel safer than the Pope in his little car.
Yeah, someone made the choice years ago that leaving people with infinite amounts of alone time and a gun was kind of a bad idea.
Grenades?
I'll see what I can do. Wake up! Hey, wake up!
Tell father still sideways. What do you want?
I'm awake. What's your problem?
Our problem.
Sorry, our problem.
That storm knocked out the phone line I used to talk to the service, which means we're cut off. I tried radioing out, and that's not working either. I don't really know why that would be the case.
There's no backup?
The backup is the 2-day hike out of here.
So that's a no?
It's easier for me to send all the lookouts out to check the status of the wire in their areas. Yours is a good hike away. If you find any portion of it down, I can try to get a hold of a ranger and he'll bring someone in to fix it.
Okay, I can do that. Where is it?
Remember that cave you hiked through yesterday?
Yeah, of course.
So you're gonna want to go back there, go through it, and keep going straight to the north when you come out.
Will do.
Thanks, Hank.
Put the damn books back. No, put it back. Stand it up. Oh. And their books. Space Puffs. A real man's breakfast. Go. Oh, that's right. That's whatchamacallit. Yeah, you can go over there. Actually, let me see. Is there anything on the back of this?
Hey, there's a map in my tower that I'm pretty sure is not USGS regulation, unless I've unknowingly been assigned to work in 2 orcs and the lake to the east is made of acid.
That sounds erroneous.
Looks like the previous resident was into fantasy.
Ah, come on. You've put all the books up here so far. Ah, now you're knocking over the thermos. Really? Okay, what about under there? There you go. Yeah, whatever. Not like I'm gonna use it. Who drinks from thermoses these days? Anything else? Alright, let's see what today's tape says.
Hey, I'm Chris.
And I'm Sean, and day 1 ended abruptly. A lot of games don't do that structurally.
Yeah.
You sort of get to an end point, you touch a flag,
A lot of tapes today.
or you continue on infinitely with no cuts.
Right.
Cuts are very rare in games that have sort of a...
First-person games especially.
Yeah.
The idea for that came from the movie Dallas Buyers Club.
So interesting.
I know. I remember so specifically seeing the first time that movie cuts to a day title card where you learn that the Matthew McConaughey character has diagnosed with AIDS and essentially given 30 days to live, and then it cuts and it says day 1, and it was that was like a gut punch when you see that because of what it implies, and I was like, oh man, our game is set in basically a limited amount of time, and there's like this tense thing that happens that makes it, you know, it's not as though there's like a specific date that's coming up, but there is like tension now that exists. Also, we had to figure out just how to get around the fact that we had a big open world and needed to tell a linear story, and so I just came in the next day and pitched that idea based on that movie.
And we all just thought it was like stylish and interesting and solved so many problems, so we did it.
Ended up creating a lot more problems, but I think it worked overall.
Yeah, that's great.
Alright, let's see where today's tapes are. So, from where we are, we just played the one inside there. So I'm gonna go down, let's see. There's a lot of running around. I'm gonna pick up a new rope today. So that's gonna allow me to hit some of these points there. There. Then number 10, gonna need a new rope for that. So let's go. Let's see. The next one to hit is going to be number 14 by the outhouse. All right. Let's go. Well, actually, I guess I should turn off the light, huh? Oh wait. It's already off. Never mind. I never did notice. Well, number one, I never noticed that the clock was transparent. What time is it? I think the clock's broken. Because it's been stuck on that time for... And it's... Let me see here. Okay, so that's sunrise. Okay, that's east. Alright, cool.
It's Ollie again. And Jake. Hey, Jake. So I feel that we're right now in close proximity to Forrest Burns.
I think the idea for
him
Burns
off
came
the cliff.
around when we realized that Smokey the Bear was not a public domain figure, and we realized, but also something that people associate really closely, the idea of a mascot with wilderness parks.
Right. So what if we created something far worse than Smokey the Bear?
What if we made something horrifying and strange? And I mean, the original idea was that as the game kind of built up, you'd find these Forrest Burns posters that would get gradually more sinister and be this sort of like externalization of Henry's inner paranoia sort of creeping in. But
That did not
we
happen.
didn't do that. We just made a wacky character and stuck him in the game.
I think there's one of the Forrest Burns posters survives in a couple places. Like Delilah's Tower at the end has the Forrest Burns can dig it poster. But the one that says "snuff it out" with him holding a match
Does not appear in the game.
the face of a child. Yeah, it's not there.
No, that's out.
Yeah, I know. Even up until the moment that Forrest Burns went into the game, I feel like there was a hesitance from the team to include him in the game. But I went and
just put him in.
You like rogue modeled the Forrest Burns stand-up, and then right before the GDC demo, I put him on the back of the outhouse. Yes. And then it turns out that he was really fun. Fun Forrest Burns fact: for a while, you could use him as a physics object, and then we've discovered that you could like surf Forrest Burns and use him to get to inaccessible areas. So you can no longer do that, unfortunately.
Damn.
That's much to my sugar.
Yeah, surf Burns down the shell slide, not allowed. Anyway, that's him. Enjoy him. Yep. Use him well.
No, let's carry Forrest Burns with me. Alright, and the next place we're going is number 12. Alright. Come on, Forrest. Let's go. We'll put you in the cave by the door. I'm going this way. Wait. Yeah, there we go. No, don't throw him. I don't want to accidentally lose him. You're there for a second. Go to the next tape.
Hey, it's Chris again.
And Sean.
Hey.
Hey.
So the conversation that you may be hearing or may be coming up soon has Delilah taking a call from another lookout. Unbeknownst to her, Henry can hear this all happening. And when she finishes that call, you as the player can choose to call her on it or not call her on it. And that was a very interesting piece of writing and design, I think.
Yeah, I really loved the idea we had here, and I love the way it is performed, but I feel like I especially would add something to it if I were to go back into the game and noodle around. This is a kind of a confusing call for people, and I'm sure if it was for you, you'll understand why, which is that people get really hung up on the fact that Delilah takes this mysterious call, and then it's never sort of like overtly explained that she's just doing her job. She's just literally just talking to someone else, and the lens through which you hear it is 100% just Henry's paranoia. But I feel like that could have been underscored here way more had I let you, the player, like, find a nuanced middle ground and sort of pry at her about what that call was without freaking out. If you call her on it, Henry gets very, very defensive. And while I think that goes to illustrate the fact that Henry doesn't have a lot of capacity for nuance and middle ground because he's so damaged and bummed to be in the situation he's in, I feel like he kind of did players a disservice by not letting them feel out the relationship and a potential mystery early on.
I think that dated from an earlier revision of the game in which we were barreling towards more of a hard break between Henry and Delilah.
Yes.
And this was maybe just one thing that didn't quite get that last tweak.
Yeah. But I still like the scene,
Me too.
nevertheless.
Yeah.
Oh, it's actually pretty damn cold out here.
Roger that. Warms up fast. The mornings are cold in Boulder, though, right?
Yeah, they are.
What did you get up to down there? I mean, what's life like?
Boring if you don't ski. We used to go to this bar called the Dollar, though. I love that place.
Oh, wait, is that down on Pearl? They have all the money pinned to the ceiling?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
I love that bar. Why don't you go anymore?
I took this job.
Oh, duh. Hey, can you hold on a sec?
Sure. Just gonna keep hiking and hoping it warms up.
Heyo. I don't think so. Why, have you? Okay, good. No, I don't think he has any idea. I'm absolutely sure. Would you?
Hey, how'd you get back there?
I'll
Damn.
let you know if anything changes in that regard.
I'm gonna prop you up right here.
Hey, sorry about that. Anyway, if there's anyone or anything
There.
you want to talk about, fire away.
Who was that?
Who was who?
I don't think he has any idea. What was that? Were you talking about me?
What?
You left your button pressed or something.
Henry, that call was work. I was just talking to... Actually, it's not really your business. Why are you freaking out?
I'm not freaking out.
Good. I'm gonna go quiet for a little bit. Call me if it's important.
But didn't want to talk to her anyhow, so. Let me see here. I suddenly get another rope, so. I don't think, let me see where the next map is, or next point is. Keep on doing that. So, 34. If I recall correctly, 34 is the raccoon, maybe? But, pretty much, I think we'll get the rope at cache 302. Right, so. Actually, no, I think the raccoon... I don't know, we'll find out. So. Go for the jog here. Yeah, nothing like a good jog on a brisk, cold morning. Let me see here. So you're gonna hang to the left and then hang to the right. Right? No. So I think this is the left. And then this is the right. Oops.
I can see the wire you're talking about. It looks like it's in good shape from here.
We'll follow it up to the top of the trail if you can. You can head back as soon as you give me the all clear.
Got it. Hey, I found a structure that might have been an outhouse once, I think.
Whoa, you don't need my permission to go to the bathroom, but, you know, use abandoned shitters at your own peril.
I mean, I'm in the right area?
I do believe. The comms wire runs for quite a ways. Follow it all the way to the top of Beartooth Point, and if it's not damaged, you can loop around back home.
This outhouse is in the middle of nowhere.
Well, I hate to tell you, but everything out here is in the middle of nowhere.
You know what I mean. Am I on the right track?
Just keep following the wire to the top of the ridge, and then you can head back.
Well, fine. Oh, yes.
Anything I should know about the cabin at the top of this hill?
Yeah, there's a raccoon inside.
Okay, then.
Hi, Ollie.
Hi, Sean.
It's nice that we're doing a tape together.
I know, is this the first one?
It's our first and only one.
Oh, that's a shame.
I feel like we've done so much together not on tape, at least not recorded in a way that you know about.
Okay.
And here we are talking about Hawk's Rest.
Hawk's Rest.
You concepted this area.
Yeah, the idea was that it would seem from the outside a sort of innocuous little house on the edge of a cliff, much like your own lookout, but when you open the door you get the surprise that it's been burnt away and you just see a vista and sort of rush of wind as you open that door, and I thought that would be a really fun reveal to the player.
Yeah, and I sort of screwed it up when I first wrote this scene because all the sort of Hawk's Rest dialogue and all the stuff about Raccoon Carter was as you were walking up the hill, you could report the cabin, which was a lookout tower, at the top of the hill, and then get into this story about its former inhabitant as you were approaching it, and then it sort of buried the moment in a way. So we took all that stuff out and I hacked in very inelegantly, I think, that Delilah just doesn't answer you when you ask her about what the house at the top of the hill is, and then you get to experience it alone before getting the story about Raccoon Carter, and I'm really happy with the way that worked out. Also,
there's a secret.
But the raccoon that lives in the stove that you may or may not know about is only there on certain days because of a myriad of design reasons. But if you're here on any day that isn't day 2 and you open that stove, there's a little critter in there.
Any day other than day 2. And what day am I on? I'm on day 2.
Drawn by Ollie. I really like that raccoon, Oliver.
So we have to come here. Okay, so what we're going to do,
Also,
we're not going to do it here then.
On the rest of the game, and I'm only going to tell you that on the Hawk's Rest tape.
That's why I never got hit by the
I don't want
raccoon.
anyone hearing me ever compliment you. Fantastic. In the record, but because it's our only tape together. But yeah, I really love the way this area came together.
It's lovely. Lovely the way it is. Very
Alright,
nice.
so number 19 now. Number 19. Okay, so we'll be coming back here again tomorrow. Or on another day. Because any day other than day 2 will give me my raccoon, which will then let me get another achievement, trophy, whatever you want to call it. So basically this is just follow the power line And then this is the next one, right? Yep.
Hey, it's Jake again.
And Mark's here.
So, is there anything style-wise that you had to consider on this game as opposed to doing work in like I don't know, a lot of the other stuff you've done is probably more AAA in scope?
Yeah, I mean, my previous work, I've done a lot more just ridiculous, over-the-top Hollywood-type blood squibs and explosions and laser beams and that kind of jazz. So it was neat to just sort of like stop and think about what the relevant effects to walking around a national park would be.
Right.
Just sort of ambient, natural, secondary motion.
There's a cache up there.
Without it being obnoxiously overpowered as most things you would do for a AAA action game.
You know, the entire world looks hazy and covered in smoke as the fire gets closer and closer. And obviously, we couldn't just fill the entire world with smoke because everyone's graphics card would melt and it would also look like a big pile of garbage. So it seems like you and Paolo, who did a lot of the sort of programming side of this, ended up inventing this thing that the team called the Henry Smoke Barfer, which
I do think Nels actually coined that one. But yeah,
it was probably Nels.
Yeah, it's a very Nels thing to say.
Yeah, Henry at this point in the game is wandering around with basically a pigpen cloud around him. When you see the sparks flying around on day 79 or the sort of lingering haze on days 77 and 78, that's actually just Henry's body emitting those, then leaving them behind in a trail.
I made up a group of emitters that rotate around the watchtower that, you know, if you look real closely, you could probably make it out, but it gives that sort of feeling of it's super intensely smoky outside without
you're in the middle of this big swirling storm, but actually it's just, 6 feet of smoke spinning around the outside of the building.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a board. Another book. And then flowers. Anything else in here? Nope. Okay. Alright, so we need to go up there because we have to actually look at the wire and say, hey, it's been cut. Oh, beer cans.
Guess what?
What is it?
There's a bunch of empty cans up here.
Same as before?
Yep.
These fucking kids.
Why do you think they'd be up here?
Hell if I know, but they better have stayed away from our communication stuff.
Any more beer cans? So long drop, that means it's a one-way drop.
Well, I hopped down a drop and now I can't climb back up.
That is a pickle.
I can just keep hiking, but I figured I should let you know in case I get myself trapped out here.
How adventurous of you.
I've been doing a lot more climbing out here than I expected.
Well, keep your radio charged. I'd hate to one day find a skeleton with an orange backpack at the bottom of a ravine.
So we really can't reach anyone any other way than these wires?
What else do you suggest? Smoke signals?
Just seems dangerous.
Well, if they don't hear from me for a few days, they'll send someone out, but I'd rather it not come to that.
Ah, come on. I'm trying to pick up all the beer cans. Because, I don't like having beer cans just littered all over the place. But I can't pick that one up, damn it. Damn. Oh well. Go pick up these beer cans. Oh, wait, more beer cans. Let me grab this first.
Hey, Chris again.
And Sean.
Hey, if you saw the second trailer for Firewatch, there's a moment that takes place here where Delilah points out that there's someone in Henry's tower. Henry points out that he's not there. Camera swings back to the tower, and it's a big dramatic ending. Of course, that moment happens in a completely different part of the map in the actual game and has totally unrelated to this moment that you're now experiencing.
And this was a trailer that we had debuted with Sony at E3, so we knew we had a big audience and that a lot of people were going to see it. It's really, really challenging. I mean, you all know, because everyone goes to movies, what it's like to watch a trailer for a movie that you're excited about and maybe have already decided to see and then be shown too much stuff.
Yeah.
And every
Go
once in a
to
while,
hell.
a movie either has like the ability to or
Nice.
sort of the chutzpah to just show
those
you
actually
a
look like
scene
pretty
that
big
isn't-
panties.
that hit the cutting room floor or an alternate version of something that gets you feeling the way you should feel and excited for the movie as presented, but doesn't spoil it for you. And I think I'm really happy that we ended up doing that. I think it's good. Like, you're not lying. It's not like we showed you a mechanic that you can't do or anything like that.
I think that we basically had to find a way to accurately convey the type of tension and mood of the game without spoiling it. And so we basically ended up just writing those trailers to fit. I think it worked.
Yeah, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, okay, the wire's down here.
Okay, good. Any sign of those girls? Did they mess with anything?
I'll look around.
Yeah, there's a pair of panties here.
Hey, so the wire is definitely down out here. I just found it. Yeah, the thing is, it doesn't look like the wind. It looks like it was cut deliberately.
I knew it. The moment you said you found their trash. These idiots are gonna pay. Do they realize this is how people die? I mean, what if something happened to one of my lookouts while this was going on? And God forbid there's an actual fire burning out of control.
What do you want to do?
I want you to go find them.
And then what?
I haven't thought that far ahead. That's not true. Everything that comes to mind is illegal.
Let's hear it.
Oh yeah?
Hey, I came out here for a breath of fresh air and some adventure. What do you got?
I think I want you to just find them and scare the hell out of them.
Yeah, I'd make a spooky ghost costume, but they stole my sheets.
I don't know. Wait for them to wander off and wreck their camp. Something that would make a teenage girl run home to mommy and daddy.
I'll find them.
Thanks.
But I am gonna need a raise.
Don't hold your breath. I'd start by hiking back towards your tower and just keep an eye out for anything that would lead you to them.
Well, they're big into Red Eagle.
Great. See if you can find the path they took down from there. Maybe they looped back around towards the lake or something. I doubt they're where they were yesterday, but they obviously can't have gone far.
Alright, so now, let me see here. Oops. So basically we're going to loop around there. So next one we're going to hit is going to be number 21. I think cache 241 is where I want to pick up the next rope. Alright. That there is to excuse me. This way is to Delilah's place there. Alright, so number 21. Right? Yep, number 21. Alright, let's go for another jog. Run! You know, and I would pick up their trash, but since I can't pick it all up now, I don't know if I want to. I probably will, though, just because I'm a good guy. Wait, is this the right way? Damn. Now I'm confused. Yeah, keep on doing that. So... Excuse me. Where does this go? Oh, I think I need the axe. Because I got an axe or machete later on, so I think I can get to it then, right? Yeah.
I've got an overgrown trail here,
Yeah, that'll happen.
so I'm screwed when it comes to getting past it.
Screwed until you clear it yourself, yeah.
Great. Well, if I come across some tools, I'll add groundskeeping to my ever-increasing list of responsibilities. I gotta tell you, all this climbing and jumping, it's pretty invigorating.
Just wait for the rest of the summer when you'll be sitting on your fat ass 14 hours a day.
Let's see. Okay.
There's an abandoned pack out here.
And it's not one of the teens?
No, it looks like it was lost a long time ago.
Well, you could always pilfer it for supplies.
Okay, I think this has the rope and the camera. I gotta use all the pictures. Yep, that's one.
Well, I am flush with ropes now. That pack was full of them, in decent condition too.
That's lucky.
I mean, there's enough rope here that I could just leave them hooked up, I think. Oh, get this. This pack came with one of those cardboard single-use cameras.
With pictures left?
Yeah, he only used 3 or 4.
Neato.
Thank you, Brian Goodwin.
Wait, who?
The bag had the name Brian Goodwin sewn into the top.
Huh. Wow.
Do you know him?
Yeah, I just haven't heard that name in a few years.
He was a lookout?
Yeah, kinda, I guess. He was stationed in Two Forks, your lookout, with his dad Ned 3 summers ago. Great kid.
You can bring children out here?
No. You know, I'm not a stickler for rules. They took off halfway through the summer.
Is Ned that guy from the note I told you about? About the guy leaving his post?
Oh, could be, yeah, but I think at one point they just realized this job wasn't for them. For Brian, at least.
Huh.
Anyway, so it goes. Have, fun with that camera. Try not to snap anything that would scar a Photodome employee.
I don't know. I got a lot of hiking to do. Might get bored.
Well, I'm bored as rocks, so I'll keep you company while you find those girls, huh?
Hi, it's Ben.
Oh, it's Jake. Hey, Ben. So let's talk about Henry's camera, or I guess more specifically, the Goodwin family camera. We liked the idea of Brian and his dad bringing one of those little cardboard cameras out with them, and we had thought at various points in production, maybe we should cut taking photos because it's really complicated. Maybe you should just see the ones at the end in the credits and be shocked by the Goodwin family.
When I joined the project, I actually was super excited about this feature. I liked the idea of having the camera have a little bit of a real-world feel to it. People seem to like when you showed an animated GIF of it on Twitter. People went crazy remembering these things.
Especially once the idea was proposed that on PC you could print out your photos or you could upload them to the internet and get them developed, which is the thing that we do.
Yeah, the photos that we take are actually secretly 5 megapixel, first generation digital camera quality photos, but just good enough that if you print them out, they look okay.
Yeah, once we went all in on that as a concept, it seemed like having the camera in the game was an essential no-brainer, and then we went all in on making it work like a real camera. Like we really wanted, you'll have a fixed number of shots you can take. Every time you take a picture, Henry has to wind the camera by hand.
And some players like ignore it and don't take pictures. They'll take like the 2 that Delilah tells you to, and then the end credits will play, and they'll see 2 pictures and maybe have a little feeling of loss that they didn't participate in that feature.
Yeah, or people who get super bummed because they get really into the mystery and take pictures of like strange machines and ripped up campsites and a dead Brian Goodwin, and then get to the end credit sequence and go, oh, that was me.
Yeah, they only see the sad things that
I
those
like
people
that
win.
depending on how much you use the camera and what you choose to take a picture of, you end up getting a different story at the end of the game. That's the thing that I think worked out the best with the camera and made me the happiest that we actually went all out on building this stupid thing.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Well, we will be using the camera this time.
Who are these guys, Ron and Dave? They're leaving notes for each other in the boxes. Is there any chance one of them was that guy I saw in the canyon? You know, the guy with the flashlight?
No, they're both rangers. They're not out here this season. I didn't really know him that well, but I always assumed the only thing Ron cared about was chasing tail and getting loaded. It's somehow comforting to know that he was able to keep up a correspondence with someone who wasn't going to send him a topless Polaroid.
Someone found a fossil and put it in a cash box.
Could be the same person who left that antler.
And maybe they're leaving me an entire creature, piece by piece.
Alright, so next place, where's the next, 45. Take the right path.
Hey, sorry about snapping at you earlier. I thought about it and yeah, I suppose
maybe
that must
that's
have
not
sounded kind of weird
too
when
far
you
right.
heard me take that other call. Plus, you're just out here in your own head. Trust me, I know how it is. So, did you break any hearts back in Colorado when you took this job? I myself have chosen to never get attached to anyone who would miss me, but I know I'm a bit of an outlier.
I'm actually married.
But you're here.
She's sick, and I shouldn't be here, but I am.
I'm sorry, Henry. What is it?
We'll get into it.
I'll put the guilt trip on you.
Well, in the meantime, you are here, and it's beautiful, and escaping isn't always something bad.
Yeah, sure.
Look, I gotta go do a thing, but I'll have a radio. Okay, call me if you need to.
Hey, Delilah?
What do you got? You found him?
No, not yet. Why would there be a fence out here?
Because sometimes hikers go ass over tea kettle when on a trail.
So the Forest Service would put up a big chain link fence?
A chain link fence?
Yeah. It looks like it surrounds a huge area.
Huh. That's weird.
Do you think those girls could be behind this fence?
Well, having once been an ornery young woman, the last thing I would do is climb a fence. Especially if I knew I was in trouble.
I don't even know how I would get in.
It's really strange that that's out there, by the way.
Yeah, it's weird.
Hey, Chris here.
And Patrick.
Hey, Patrick. So at this point in the game, we're starting off on the search for the teens. One big challenge we frequently had on Firewatch was figuring out how to guide players when the person giving you your current objective doesn't actually know where to send you. Delilah knows you need to find the teens, but neither of you have any idea where to start.
And in this case, we'd used telephone poles to get you up to Beartooth Point, and we're now using some beer cans to sort of lead you in the general direction away from that. Of course, we rapidly saw that these teens were drinking a truly ludicrous number of beers in one walk.
I think you and I both placed quite a few of these beer cans, probably you even more than I.
Yep.
it started to sort of strain credulity.
Right. Which is why I think we had to add that case at the end just to make it plausible that there are something like 30 cans out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably the best tool we ended up coming up with for this, which was the smoke plume, was because we were getting increasingly uncomfortable with stretching fiction so far to the point of adding this many like Hansel and Gretel beer cans.
That's right. And but even then, the smoke plume was not enough. Many players didn't notice it or weren't looking up, which we know is a common game design problem. And that's when we started adding dialogue where Henry could call into Delilah and basically say, "Where do you have any ideas? I'm lost. I still can't find them." Kind of mirroring what we saw in playtesting where people did get lost and got frustrated.
Right.
Ultimately, when that fell down,
eventually, if you have not noticed anything, you haven't asked Delilah about any of this stuff, she will just call you and say, "Hey, I see some smoke. Maybe that's where you should go."
Right, and that pretty well sews it up.
The sort of full court press of all of those things. I think most players eventually find their way to the teens. I mean, we figured it was okay for players to get lost a little bit. I mean, that is the point of this. You are supposed to be on an aimless search a little bit on this mission. But, I think with all of the different tools we added in, most players eventually feel like they're actually on some kind of trail.
I mean, I suggested an omniscient satellite AI that could contact you and tell you exactly where to go, but that was shot down.
It was a late cut.
Yeah.
Oh. I think so. The next one is over here. I think through this. Yeah, there it is.
Hi, I'm Will, and I was the gameplay and systems programmer on Firewatch.
And I'm James, and I was the animator on Firewatch.
Let me see
and we're here
here.
to talk about climbing and mantling today.
We had a bunch of stuff that essentially was more point-to-point interactive
the next
stuff, where you sort of
one
like look to the rock
was
you wanted
going
to
off,
put your
going
hand
down
on
to
and click on
22.
it, and you kind of do that. A lot of the platforming-y type stuff just got pared down because as you make the game, you realize what game you're making, and it's not really about being an athletic climbing person. It just kind of like made the game slower when you were trying to get to the next conversation. Mostly what the climbing stuff ended up being useful for in like game design terms was characterization. So some of the mantles do a decent job of getting across that Henry is kind of a lumbering, slightly heavier person, as we sort of like force you to watch Henry kind of slug over an edge rather than being a nimble, mirror's edgy person.
We also use it a lot of times to break up sight lines so that you get a good vista as you come up over a mantle, like when you see the man with the flashlight for the first time, or kind of see the burned forest.
In the cave, sometimes we use the camera animation on mantles to hide a sort of teleport to a different part of the cave, which was pretty useful actually, so that was quite good.
The reason that it all got pared down is we, didn't want you to ever fall off the cliff, didn't want you to back down them. Like, nobody ever wanted to climb back up those twice, so we just made them simpler and simpler and simpler until eventually
I remember what this is. This is to show you the shading of different times. So,
and we're thinking
so this here turns at night. So if I jump off, it's going to go back to
like the most
proper
obvious design
time.
decision ever for Firewatch.
So that's what this is for.
I'd only been making games before then where it's like, and then you have your character can die and you respawn and like traditional video games.
Which is kind of cool. How it shows you the progress of a day.
Suddenly of like, how do you make content
that's what that's
still
about.
Feels like I'm climbing
That's exactly
over
what it
stuff
says
and
there.
doing things,
The time of day system.
but with
Imagine that.
absolutely no risk. And I remember at the very beginning being like, oh god, is that going to be a huge problem? Of course now, if you ever saw Henry fall to his death in the game, it would be ludicrous and ruin the moment.
Absolutely.
But Firewatch 2 is going to have lots and lots of fall into your death, obviously.
Oh, hey, this is Ben again, and I'm here with Paolo.
Hello, I'm Paolo. I was the graphics programmer on Firewatch.
So we're here to talk a little bit about the time of day system that the game uses and the skybox stuff. You're in an area where there's a weird device that you can use to step and mess around with those while we talk.
As you can see around you right now, you can walk on
Okay,
the
now we're going on
different
to number
cards there,
10.
and you'll see
Actually,
the
we'll go
weather
ahead and...
changing. So
I don't need to put the rope there
immediately,
yet.
when we started working on Firewatch, there were a couple of
Follow
important points. We had to
and
have
take the
a dynamic
right
time
path.
of day. So at any point, people could trigger changing the sky, changing the fog, changing each individual component independently. At the same time, this has all sorts of technical implications, but the most important are, okay, how do we represent all this information? Games have many ways of baking data, which means that you sort of gather the lighting information in a scene and then you save it into memory, which is usually a texture or other data structures, to then use it in real time. Now, the problem with that was that we had a lot of different permutations and we wanted them to change in real time, and also we didn't know ahead of time how many we were going to have. So we tried to go with a fully dynamic solution. In this case, what dynamic means is just that as you walk around, you'll see the sun moving around, the sky color changing, the fog color changing, and the shadows moving. So all those components are always rendered every frame, and there's no information that is stored anywhere.
So what pieces make up the sky again?
The sky, we tried first an approach of representing sort of a simplified version of the scattering equation and seeing what that would look like. And it was looking good in the game, but it was still very difficult to author. And since Ollie, as the art director, is absolutely talented with colors, at some point we just sat down and we sort of worked together and said, okay, imagine that you could just paint the sky in Photoshop and think about how that would work in the game. It might just magically work. And by doing that, we basically dissected his process of assembling just a painted sky in Photoshop, and we created a shader, which are basically programs that run on the GPU to render things, that suited his exact style. So really, the sky is just a series of gradients that blend into each other with a couple of controls to change curves and attenuations between them. So as you walk around, you'll be able to see how both the sky changes and then the fog adapts to the same color and the sun moves in the right direction. And then there were just a couple of numbers to make sure that like the brightness around the sun would be higher so that it would still sort of represent and give the feeling of what the sky and how the sky behaves.
And this like gave Ollie the ability to test some things very quickly.
Exactly. Having immediate feedback for filling a world that was as big as Firewatch, especially for the sort of limited team size that we had, was absolutely important. Like, we had to have a way so that artists would make something quickly, have an idea of what it would look in the game, and knowing that it was pretty close to what we were going to ship.
Yep. Hey, Jane.
Hi, Jake. Let's talk about how I almost killed you over this canyon crossing.
Why would anyone have any objection to something in a game as lovely as this area?
So originally, when we first built this whole canyon, you can only walk through the bottom where the creek is.
It looks really lovely when you're walking along the bottom looking up.
And you cannot get close to anything.
You can just imagine what the top of the canyon looks like, and you don't ever have to see it or make
All right,
it.
other top, let's see what the next one is.
But what if, think about this though, what if you could walk across the top of it and look down, and then we built all of that too?
Go to number
I just remember
7.
the day when you mocked this out in a paper map and just gingerly just showed it to me, and then I looked at it and I was like
what's that line? What's that line doing going over there?
No way, Jake.
There was no way I was gonna win that. I mean, I ended up just building a lot of it myself to
And
try.
then, and I think you were like, okay, how about this other thing? I was like, okay, this other thing is fine, but this is definitely not happening.
I just secretly built a million walls and trees and did every single thing that I possibly could to make it so you would look at it.
You did a good job though, because the thing I was really worried about was when you're up there, you end up seeing basically the whole length of the canyon, and then also all the way to basically towards Delilah's tower, which means it's like
Right,
way
all the way
like
through like the Beartooth Point
it would be like
area.
way too much game to try to draw.
Mule Point. Yeah,
So that
exactly.
that was the original sort of, you know,
It was a lot
fear.
of very careful, like, then you go around this turn and then you secretly drop down 3 feet and a bunch of huge trees come up. I was very happy that we were able to get the canyon crossing in because it's one of the few places where I think you do a total figure 8 over yourself.
It was nice that you managed to problem solve all the sight line areas before I lose my mind.
Thanks for not killing me. I'm alive to be on this commentary track.
I see a really thin plume of smoke.
Yeah, I see it too. A thin plume like this is either a new fire or a campfire.
Campfire. You think it's them?
I reckon so.
It looks like it's to the
Kinda look
southwest of here.
That's right. If you hike towards 5 Mile Creek, that should put you in the neighborhood. Keep an eye on that smoke plume. Let me know if it's getting any larger.
Will do.
Okay, so down the whatchamacallit.
Well, I'm back at my shitty boss is going to get me killed hill.
You ready to give it another shot?
Do I seriously have to?
To get down to 5 Mile Creek? Yeah, afraid so. It's quite a ways downhill from here.
Hey, it didn't fall down this time. There's... Alright, let's see what this tape says here.
Hi, this is Will.
And this is James again.
We're talking about the rope right now. You should be one nearby.
Oops.
Yeah, the rope was.
We're gonna run up to 17 first.
It kind of seeped into being quite an important part of the world.
Just because there's a thing up there.
Metroidvania items thing, and the rope was very much our first, like, you know, that's the rockets that let you get through the door in Metroid. It was such an early flag we planted in the ground for ourselves. So yeah, there were lots of technical things, weren't there?
All of the rope climbs are different. All the rope slides are different. Minorly different, but different enough. So the rope had to be physically simulated. It couldn't be just a pre-canned animation. In order to get that to work, took a ton of time, lots of iterations. In the end, I had to basically make Henry's hand a gravity well whenever he's on the rope, and then grab the nearest parts of the rope and reskin them to bones that I was just making.
Pay attention to the trail
around Henry's hand and belt. So his like left hand, right hand, and belt are all take over as fake bones, and we reskin the rope every frame to get that to match up perfectly.
Hey, how's it going
and
today?
If you look real close at the rope, you can see sort of a little bit in front of his hands. The texture
I enjoy
on it,
the game.
The tiling changes and kind of squishes and
right now
stretches
playing
and
with the,
stretches as you go
the
down.
tape commentaries.
And that's because the rope position doesn't naturally always like line up with even spacing when I swap in those fake bones.
Yeah, the rope is one of the best examples if you were to like zoom the camera out and look at what's going on, where like I'm sort of animating by the seat of my pants and like just keeping his hands in the perfect position so that that transition between the physics rope and the skinning version of the rope, you know, doesn't blend too strangely, and it's probably the set of animations in the game that has the most versions made.
It's I mean, gives you some interesting backstory as far as the actual game design and all that.
Hands would swap in front of
just
you,
another variation,
you know,
gotta
from one to the other, and obviously that
try
was
out.
unbelievably, ridiculously complicated once we had a physical rope. And
nice thing is you can get on it from anywhere and at any time, and it all works. So it was worth it in the end, but quite a bit of effort.
Plus it's such a somewhat of a relaxing game. I hear the ducks. Oh, yeah, I hear the ducks right there.
Hello, this is Jane again.
And Chris.
And we are now by the lake.
Yeah,
And,
what I'm really trying to do is
there's some really sweet duck sounds by the
finish
lake.
the trophies for it. Because I missed a couple.
Duck sounds for months.
First time I
Actually,
played
one of
it.
the oldest, we track our tasks on the game with like a task tracker or a bug tracker. So you rank them all by priority. And I think the lowest or second lowest priority thing on my list for months was duck sounds for Jane, and that just sat there until I think one day I just didn't have a lot to do, and I was like, you know what, I'm doing it. I'm bumping the duck sounds up the chain. I think I just looked on the internet for public domain duck noises.
Yeah, I think you were actually wondering what kind of ducks there would be too. You were
I
very
looked it
thorough.
up. I researched it, and I think I was like.
Well, see, I didn't realize, I got stung by a bee one.
Because I didn't want it to just be like.
The one I missed was the raccoon, because I didn't realize he's not there on day 2, which is initially when you go up the trail to,
Thanks for bugging me about the duck sounds.
when you initially see the house or the cabin. He doesn't appear there on day 2. So I'll be making another trip back there to get scared by him. And then I didn't realize there was one for using all the film in the camera. So I'm missing 3 in total. So the camera, I'm sorry, 3. So use all the pictures in the camera, get scared by the raccoon, and then there's a tape of old show stone. So that one there, I haven't, I'm not sure on that one yet. So that can happen as early as day 77. So from what the trophy guide was talking about. The turtle one, yeah. Because he, and I remember you get him from a, box. I just don't remember which box you get him from. But yeah, I did get that one previously. Let's see. The only thing I kind of wish you could do is have the map out and go a little bit faster. But beyond that, I really don't have any complaints about this game. It's got a cool little story behind it. The ending's kind of crappy though. I mean, well, not that it's a bad story. It's just, it's like you kind of wish there was a little bit of a better ending. That'd be actually kind of cool if they had that for this game. A tracker that tells you how much distance you've actually covered in the game. Because at the very start, he technically went 8 miles. Because where he parked his truck to getting to the lookout tower was 8 miles. And then after that, I'm not sure, all the running around he's been going through the caverns. There's cache 309. Oh, actually that would be interesting. Put this game in VR. Because I mean, realistically, it's actually structured where you could easily do this in VR. If you had some sort of like one of those walking, I know they have those walking setups out there for the VR, where it's like you get set up in a harness and basically it allows you to actually walk.
How many hikers go missing in the Shoshone?
More than none, unfortunately, with most of them being in this area. the thoroughfare because it's so remote. Why?
I found an old flyer for a missing hiker. It just got me thinking, that's all. Like how you said one day you were talking to the Goodwins and then the next you weren't.
Ned Goodwin didn't get mauled by a bear or stuck in a ravine. He was just a
think that's
PTSD
in there.
a-hole who dragged his son out to do a job and realized it was a bad idea.
You really didn't like that guy, did you?
I don't know. I just had a hard time talking to him. I mean, there are lookouts who seriously won't shut up, who call me about every little thing that pops into their head. And then there are those who just want to be left alone.
Hey, how's it going there?
He was the latter.
And I'm the former, aren't I?
Well, I didn't want to say anything.
No, it's fine. I'll just chuck my walkie-talkie into the river.
Oh, come on.
And you'll never hear from me again.
Finally, peace and quiet. Woohoo!
Doing good. Just
So
taking a break from some other games.
I couldn't bring myself to do it.
With a more relaxing game.
Yeah. Hey, so did you mention something about Ned Goodwin having PTSD? That doesn't sound good.
Yeah, I don't know. He was in the army. He was off. It's actually the saddest story. He was only discharged because his mother, Brian's grandmother, died. She'd been taking care of him.
It's a variety.
Damn.
Playing.
You got to know Brian a little bit?
Yeah. Tomb Raider-ish, Assassin's Creed type games.
How was he at spotting fires?
Better than you.
I just finished a very bitter playthrough of Assassin's Creed 3, and so
boy, for as dry as it is this summer, this
had
area
to
down here.
switch it up to something a little bit more relaxing.
You must be talking about
after playing Origins and Odyssey,
yeah, I think that's
Assassin's Creed 3 was not what I wanted to play.
Did you know that?
Combat and everything else was a little bit more.
I didn't.
Yeah, they share their water as a colony.
Funky
that can
for
live
me.
For hundreds of years, even through fire. Can you believe you're actually getting paid to learn all of these amazing things? Also, by what it looks like on this map, you'll be coming up on a stream that should lead you towards where we saw that smoke.
But because I mean, I really enjoy those style of games, you know. But I think my mistake with Assassin's Creed 3 was I played Origins first because, you know, it's the origin supposedly, but because it is a newer game as far as release, the combat for it is, you know, was different than Assassin's Creed 3, and so it felt like going backwards as far as what I enjoyed. And I mean, it was just getting very, very bitter for me. So it's like, ugh. Yeah, I wasn't too happy with that. I like the story behind it, don't get me wrong, but the gameplay just kind of put me off. Where's this? Damn it. Okay, so it is east of me. That way. So I'm actually kind of curious. What the new Assassin's Creed Valhalla is going to be like when it gets released this December, or this, they say, you know, holiday 2020. Okay. I appreciate the follow. Thank you. Where am I at? Okay, so it should be on there, right on the stream. Oh, and also thank you both for following that. Okay, so there's supposed to be a tape player right here, and Alright, well maybe it'll appear on tomorrow's map, but it's got a number next to it, so it should be lit up. I mean, it's literally northwest from me 2 steps, so like right here. This is where it should be. Alright, well I'll come back to it then. Maybe it'll appear after I do what I need to do up here. So where's the next one at? The next one is let's see here. Straight across. Cool. Well, I'm pretty sure everyone you followed, I'm sure appreciates it. Depending on what the streamer's trying to do long term, gaining followers for them is definitely a must, in order, you know, for them to get into the higher tiers with respect to the you know, the affiliates and the partners where they can actually, you know, get subscriptions and whatnot. And there's, I mean, pretty much most any game that you can think of is out on stream, which is kind of cool, or is available to, what the hell? Oh, sorry. Is available to be seen on Twitch. That kind of scared me there for a second. But I've got that commentary thing on again. So what type of stuff you guys got it or something, but if you ever get bored, stop by. Have a good one, and thanks for stopping by NRT. Yeah, I've seen a little bit of the Valorant, a little bit. And so what type of stuff have you been messing with what have you been streaming there? Shalala, I guess. Civilization 5 and 6. Okay, that's cool. Let me see here. I apologize. I'm actually I'm multitasking, if you will, while I stream. I play. I do my stream and I watch other people stream at the same time. That's the beauty of technology these days is there are what do you call it? You know, you can get stuff so you can play old school like PS1, PS2, Nintendo 64. I mean, a lot of old school stuff. But I'm actually going to be fortunately calling it here for the evening. I'm about to participate in a co-streamer's some fun that he's going to be doing. He's currently playing a Jackbox TV. I'm not sure if you're if you like that or not. But if you're interested in jumping on Jackbox, he's got plenty of spaces open for it, and he's a pretty good streamer. But otherwise, have a good night, and I'll stop by and see how your stuff is. Have a good one there.